All right, welcome officially Cinco de Mayo, if anyone cares. Even though I don't drink alcohol anymore, I still feel like I have to like make a virgin drink or something on Cinco de Mayo. I miss margaritas the most for sure. But happy May 5th. It's so nice to see everyone's faces. If you're watching the recording, oh, let me keep admitting people. Hopefully I don't forget to do that. Oh, thank you, Haley. Yeah, so it's just been like a crazy roller coaster for me, but what else is new, right? People keep saying like 2020 is crazy. I'm like, I just think like the age 34 for me is just not my best friend. So, but I'm trucking forward. I'm feeling really good right now. And you guys have, if you know me, you guys know that I always talk about, and we have tons of new coaches. So if this is like too much to start off a Zoom call, I apologize, but I just like to be super real with people. And, I always tell people, like, if you're going through something, and especially with everything that's going on in the world right now, like, don't try to do it alone. Rely on your friends and family, get professional help. I got a lot of professional help in the last couple weeks, and I just have to say a massive thank you to everyone on this team. Like, you guys rose up and did, I didn't even have to like say anything. You guys were like, I got it. We had our biggest month. Let me keep admitting people. That's going to like totally throw me off. Um, I was so proud to see what you guys were doing. And if I'm being honest, so my 7-year coach anniversary is June 30th, which is also my wedding anniversary. And I remember my coach telling me back in the day that your biggest goal as a leader is to have your coaches surpass you, to have your coaches not need you. And it was kind of weird, like sitting back and I was watching everything happening, and like I wasn't posting, and I was still like emailing my clients and talking with my coaches and doing all that stuff. But it was crazy for me to see like that exact idea of watching my coaches surpass me, starting to earn more than me, watching them rank advance, like not needing me. And it's a weird feeling, it's like, you're pushing some of the birdies out of the nest at some point. You're just like, okay, they totally don't need me, but it makes my heart and my soul so happy and so proud to see you guys lead. So this morning when I was getting ready, keep admitting, when I was getting ready for this, I was like, what do I say when I come on here? And like, what do I want to do going forward? Because obviously, like, the world is definitely different currently. It's going to be different going forward. And I think we have a huge mission to fulfill here. We have so many amazing new faces. And regardless of what's going on in my personal life, I always want to make sure that you guys feel supported in your coach business, especially like with 7 years coming up. I'm like, I just feel like it's my job to show people how I've gotten to where I am today, where a business is a well-running oiled machine. Like, what have I had to learn? So I've been brain dumping along the way of things. There were so many projects that I was in the middle of when all this happened, and I still want to tackle them. And I think the biggest lesson I've learned in these last couple of weeks is just how important leadership is, and how important teaching you guys how to handle people, customers, clients, a business, how to work with your coaches, how to hold your coaches accountable, how to build those relationships. I feel like that's like the best thing I could teach you guys. And that's where my heart and my passion is. Like, challenge groups are amazing. I love working out. I love our products. I bleed blue, but way deep down, like the part, like all the veins and all the love that I have for this business is built on leadership. Because when I watched you guys rise over the last couple of weeks, that is what kept me afloat, and I was able to like take a breath and focus on myself. So I'm thinking of doing, I know that you guys love when I do live videos, and I don't know, I really should have a better schedule considering like my husband's home right now, but I just don't know if I'm ready and willing yet to commit to a full-time schedule of making all these live videos. So I think I'm going to pick a day, and I'll say, for example, like Wednesday afternoons, I'll be going live. I haven't picked a date yet, but let's just say that's what I pick. And I want to do like leadership lessons with you guys. And I want to take topics in this business that are simple, that people overcomplicate, and help you guys. And so just the foundation that this team has is incredible. You guys didn't need me. So many of you went on to hit like your highest goals ever. And watching in 1 week, like the hardest week through my mess in the last couple weeks, we added 72 coaches in a week. In a week! Like my mind was blown. We haven't done that since like 2015. And so I was like, these are my people. I have to continue to pour into them. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know where I'm at. I don't think I need to teach you guys how to hit Success Club. I don't think I need to teach you guys how to post on social media. Of course, I'll work with my newbies and always help newbies, but we have so many strong examples on this team of how to show up and how to share your journey. Wow, 42 people. Hi, guys. Hello. I watch way too much Jeffree Star. I don't know if you guys watch him, but I just sounded like him. So yes, that is my plan. So a couple other things before I stop talking and hand over to our amazing guest speaker, my girl Alexis, is BOD groups. So I wanted to wait for these first 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks for corporate to work through a lot of the kinks and things that they clearly needed to work through. I was just like, hey, I opened my group. I'm in, like the round table where it's not letting me admit this person. That's weird. There we go. And I knew they had a lot of kinks to work out. And I was like, all right, let's give them some time. And I don't know if you've seen, but I've been uploading all of the things that they are changing and finally like making work with BOD groups. It's going to be an amazing platform. And I'm not excited for it for the challenge group side of things, if I'm being honest. I'm excited for it because I don't know if you guys know this, but you're actually, with all the rollouts eventually that they're going to have, you're actually going to be able to email and message your people and manage. So basically picture Streak. Google Streak is something I've taught within the team for how to manage emails and how to manage, it's called customer relations management, CRM. It's a CRM tool. And Beachbody was way behind on the times. And so we kind of have the beginning stages of our own. And so rather than having to teach you guys, how to go use another email client or something like that, these are going to be tools that will be built in through BOD groups. And I think it's going to be powerful once they work out all the kinks. So I'm waiting on everything to be kind of rolled out and finalized, and where I feel like this is a very important tool. And once that happens, I'll do a training so that you guys can learn how important that customer relationship management is in your business. I hit Success Club 18 or 20 or something last month. And guys, I didn't post, I don't know, for weeks. And it was because of all the work I had done over all the years that people were literally typing in my name on my Instagram or on my website and emailing me, and I was helping them get started. And so it was like proof is in the pudding that showing up for all this time does pay off. And it made me feel good in a way, because I was really worried about what would happen, because here I preach to you guys like, you have to show up every day, and I have. And so I excused myself for that time that I needed. But having, the email list that I have, always providing value, these are just all things I want to teach. So BOD groups is going to be amazing. I think it is amazing, but it does definitely need a little bit of work as far as all the kinks and things like that. So when I get all the final details, I want to help you guys use BOD groups to slay your business. So that's part of my plan. Brittany and I and a couple other coaches have been talking about doing a flash sale starting this weekend, so May 8th. Britt, I don't know if you've made the group yet, but if you have, can you post it in the team page? And what we're also going to do is kind of keep it open, because I leave to go camping on Wednesday for about 4 or 5 days or something like that, and I'll have no service. So I don't have enough days to promote it other than like the next couple days until I leave. So I wanted to, when I get back from camping, re-promote the May flash sale, since the $20 off all challenge packs is happening all month. So you guys can sink your teeth in now, start promoting the flash sale that we're going to be having. All you really have to do is hype up helping people and getting them in that group. And then the group will do the work for you as far as promoting and showing the packages that will be available. So Britt, I just wanted to make sure that I said that. And then I already talked about the training. So I just kind of have like a short term, I don't know, I guess like a quarter plan to share more leadership, more trainings, talking about Emerald, Diamond. I actually haven't talked to you guys in a long time about how we earn money. And I think that with all the newbies, it's going to be important to show you guys how to have that long-term vision of earning income in this business. Because if you're showing up, you 1111, make a wish, squirrel brain, just saw that. I want to make sure that I help you guys, you know, have the business that you want to have in 6-7 years. So, oh, she's not on here. I'm talking to no one. Okay, I'll message her. Thank you. Blog groups is so much easier to access from the website. Yes. Yeah, totally. So that's exactly what it's supposed to do. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be managing your blog group from the website as the portal, just like My Challenge Tracker. And then the app is more for you just to go in and engage and like log your own workouts and things like that. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that someone else knows what I'm talking about. I missed all of you too. Okay, so Alexis, she's spoken for us quite a few times. And every time that I ask the team, who do you want to hear from? Alexis's name always pops up because her energy is amazing. She inspired me during my crazy mess. I was just like watching her every day. I'm like, I was feeling guilty because I'm like, she's showing up, slaying it. She was doing the 21-day ultimate reset, which her and her man did. They both got amazing results. So if you need someone to inspire you and bring positivity and energy, she's One Fit Coconut on Instagram. She's super fun. And we both have a passion for music and festivals and things like that. So I asked Alexis to come on here and share her like full authentic story with us, because I think like me, she has a lot of stories in these last, you know, handful of years, but I actually didn't know the beginning of Alexis's true story until in the last year. And I was like, my team needs to hear this because I think it's mind blowing from where she was to where she is today. And then at the end, Alexis, I was going to like throw out a couple like coach business questions if that's cool with you. I can't keep admitting people.
All right. Do you want me to? I unmuted myself anyway.
Yeah, perfect. I'm like, okay. The whole new Zoom thing is like throwing me off here.
I know there's a lot, especially if you haven't been on a while. I feel like in the past month, there's been like 20 different updates. So it's definitely something to get used to. Okay. So you want me to go? Am I good?
Yeah, you're good. I'd love to hear your story. My team's pumped.
Yeah. What's up, guys? I'm so excited to chat. I love Colleen. She's just like the most precious little angel in the whole wide world. And so when she reached out to me and wanted me to share my story, I was like, sure, I love sharing my story. And because I feel like I have so many different facets of my story that can connect with a lot of different people. And even if maybe we don't have the same struggles, you can apply kind of what I've been through in my business and just in my life and getting me to this point to either you or people that you're working with. Because where I was before I started coaching and where I am today are like the completely two opposite sides of the world. And you've heard it before, this isn't anything new, but you hear people who are like, you know, I want to join as a coach, but I'm just like not in the right place, or I'm not the right goal weight, or I'm not in the right mindset. And I constantly tell people that coaching, you don't join as a coach once you have gotten your shit together. Like it's joining as a coach that helps you get all that stuff together. So that's where I am. So if you check me out on social media, like I'm, you know, loud, I talk a lot, I'm outgoing, whatever, like I'm just a big loud person, but that wasn't who I was before. So even if you feel like you're maybe, I know Colleen said there's a lot of new coaches on here. If you're newer or you're still trying to navigate like where you are in this business or yourself, like that's totally normal. And it's the process of figuring all of that stuff out. And you will get to where you want to be. Like I am now a person that goes to music festivals and I have tattoos and I have 2 dogs. And when I was a brand new coach, like I could barely leave my house to put gas in my car. So it wasn't that like I was that cool person with tattoos that went to music festivals that got me to where I am in my business today. I worked on all of those things and then I was able to do all of these things. So to kind of bring you back to my beginning of my story. So I went to school to be a high school history teacher, and I did my student teaching and everything. And then like 4 months before I was going to graduate, I was like, this isn't what I want to do. Kids are cool, but like, I don't think I could see myself doing it. Kind of had like a quarter life crisis. I got my degree. I did graduate, but 10 days after I graduated, I up and left the East Coast because I was living in Philly. I left the East Coast to go to the West Coast with a guy I'd been dating for like a year. against my parents' wishes, because I didn't know at the time. If you've ever been in an emotionally abusive relationship, you don't see it. And it was totally 100% controlling, manipulative, emotionally abusive, 100%. Like, he had to know the passwords to all of my things. He told me when I could hang out with my friends, like totally controlling. But I just left, graduated college, moved with him to Washington State, which is funny because that's where I live now. But we moved there, and then we were supposed to drive to LA, and we were going to live there and like live a wonderful, happy life. And when we got to LA, we, drove 2 weeks down the coast. And when we got there, I found out that he was a big giant liar. The house that he said we were going to live in never existed. And so I ended up being homeless, sleeping out of my car for like the next 3 months. Like all of our stuff in the car, driving to Target parking lots in the corner so nobody could see us. We'd sleep there, wake up in the morning, go into like the bathroom, brush my teeth in there, hope nobody came in and saw me. We would take showers on the Santa Monica beach, like in our bathing suits, because we didn't really have anything. And so that's kind of where I was with my life at the time. And I just graduated, got my degree, and like was in no way, shape, or form going to be a teacher. And during that whole time period, from leaving college all the way up to being homeless, sleeping out of my car in LA, I had developed 2 eating disorders. I was struggling with binge eating. I was struggling with bulimia, very depressed, suicidal, like anxiety ridden, the whole 9 yards. Like, I just felt like a shell of a person. And growing up, I was the, follow the leader, loud, energetic, like the kind of the person I am today now. And then when I went through that relationship, it made me a shell of a person. So I wasn't outgoing. I hated people. Now I want to make all these friends. And I was just one of those people that was like, I hate people. Those memes where they're like, they have like a lady like walk home, and then she takes off like her head and she's like a demon inside. Like, that was me. And I thrived off of being that person. Now I'm just like, really, people? But that was me. So that was who I was. And so when I was, what was that, like June of 2012. And so I finally eventually got out of that relationship. And in February of 2013, I was diagnosed with PCOS. And if you don't know what PCOS is, it's polycystic ovarian syndrome. And before that, I was like super healthy, never struggled with getting sick, never had the flu. Like I don't even know if I've ever had a cold. Like, I've always been super healthy. So when I had that happen, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. This is the end of my life. I don't know what to do. And so I started just reading books, learning as much as I could, started using Instagram as my platform to just, I guess, hold myself accountable, because I wasn't really looking to do anything in like the health and fitness industry. I was just sharing for my own accountability. And then so that was February 2013. And then in March of 2013 was when I stumbled upon coaching. My coach at the time found me on Instagram. She was like, you're doing what you're already, what we're already doing. And I was like, wow, this is probably a scam. I was one of those people that when I lived in LA and I was homeless, I took one of those payday loans out, because I got random jobs like on Craigslist, like random acting things and like working at random restaurants for like very short periods of time. And like, I took one of those payday loans out where they were like, we'll give you money, and then when you get paid, give us, like, totally just was so desperate with everything that I did. And so I was like, Beachbody is definitely going to be a scam. But I did not join for the job. I did not join to lose weight or get healthy. I knew it could help me with that, but that's not why I joined. I joined for community. And that's the whole reason why I've stayed this long. And I think just kind of going off of what Colleen was sharing, one of my biggest, I don't want to say pet peeves, because I know everybody deals with things in their own way, but one of the things that I feel like new coaches do, or like Colleen's been doing this for a long time. She has an established team, whatever, like she rocks it. But when you go through hard times, or you're struggling mentally, or you're trying to figure yourself out, what a lot of people do is they lean away from everything. They lean away from their team. They aren't leaning in, like Colleen said, like if you're struggling, like lean into people, your family and friends. You're not getting an award for being a lone ranger or saying, I went through this by myself. Like, nobody's giving you that award. So don't lean away from, whether it be your friends or family or your team. Like, you're a part of a team for a reason. And I feel like I leaned into my team when I first joined this, because the day I signed up as a coach, I was 40 pounds overweight. I was still struggling with 2 eating disorders, probably for the first year of being a Beachbody coach. And I talked about it all the time. I still was not really in the emotionally abusive relationship, was still talking to him, and it was just like a hot mess. And I was not the extroverted, outgoing person that I am today, but it was working on personal development, of course, and then leaning into the team that was there to help and support me because they were also going through those things too. And I think that one of the biggest things that really helped me see success was, like I said, personal development, but leaning into the community versus leaning away. And what I did before I was a coach was I always wanted to be like, no, I don't want any help from anybody. I want to figure it out on my own. But then I just continued to struggle on my own. So I really think that it's such an important piece when you're struggling with anything, like I said, whether it be like the eating disorder or maybe you struggle with infertility, maybe you struggle in an abusive relationship, whatever it may be, that you lean into people, a community that also understands the kind of things you're going through. But the interesting part about my Beachbody business is like, that's what I was struggling with, hardcore, like literally homeless 6 months before I joined as a coach. Then I joined as a coach, and I joined in 2013, and in 2014 and 15, the business blew up because 21 Day Fix came out. And so I started to see a lot of success pretty quickly. I had found, because I was the kind of coach that just started talking about coaching right away. I just signed up everybody as a coach because I thought they had to. I didn't really understand the business. I was like, sure, just you have to join as a coach, like do what I do. It's really fun. And I signed up 2 coaches right off the bat that like hit diamond before me. They hit 2-star diamond before me. Like they really blew up with it. And I'm sure you're like, wow, that's great, Alexis. Congrats. It was great. We were growing, which was really awesome. But I went through this period of, they started to see success and I started to feel like I didn't deserve it. And so even though you might be like, oh, wow, too bad you were making money and having so much success with your team. But until you like kind of go through the different ups and downs of this business, because there's always going to be ups and downs. And I am actually talking to my team tonight about seasons, about being in certain seasons. A lot of coaches right now are in a season of you're busy. People are reaching out. Like Colleen, I'm the same way. I hit my highest Success Club points last month. I think I hit 32. And like, I think 28 of those points were not even people that I invited, like people who went on my, like signed up without me because of all of the work that I put in. But so some people are having those really great busy months and some other coaches on my team are not. They're struggling. They're going through whatever it is that they're going through. And that is just a part of the business, is there's different seasons. So for me, I went through a season of really struggling mentally, and that was, you know, a really big struggle. And then I joined the business and it started to do really well. And then I went through this kind of was good thing with my business, but then a downward spiral of feeling like I didn't deserve like the success that I had. So I started to pull away and I wasn't reading personal development. I didn't get on team calls. I didn't do any of that stuff. And then I finally kind of picked myself back up out of whatever I was going through. And then ever since like that point up until now, the business has just always been like this. I think that, like I talked about leaning into your team, whether it's a mental struggle or it's your business, you have to make sure that you consistently remind yourself. You can't read one book and then it's going to change everything. You have to consistently remind yourself that whatever season you're going in, good or bad, it's going to go the opposite way. Sometimes it's going to be great. Sometimes it's not. But if you focus on, oh my God, I'm going through a really bad season right now. How am I going to get through this? Like this must mean I'm a failure or whatever. And you just focus on the negatives. It's going to dig you down into an even deeper hole. But if you say, this is just temporary, this is just the thing that I'm going through. And entrepreneurship, whether you own a restaurant or you whatever else that you do, you have your own Etsy business, like it's going to go like this all the time. And I think newer coaches or maybe coaches who haven't had that established business just yet, when they have that, they're like, wait, oh my gosh, this must mean like everything's going downhill, right? Like this is going to be a bad thing. And it's not. Like we all go through this. Colleen just told you how she went through her own personal stuff. So whether it's like a downward spiral of your business or a downward spiral of your mental health or your physical health and fitness journey, you have to, and I know I keep saying it, but consistently remind yourself, because I think sometimes we hear a quote or we hear a national wake-up call or we hear somebody speak and we're like, this is it. This is exactly what I needed to hear. And you think that like you're just going to mentally be on that like up and up for forever, when it's not necessarily going to be like that. You're going to hear it, but that's why we read personal development, not necessarily to come up with all these brand new ideas, but to consistently give us that little boost that we need all the time. So whatever you're dealing with and all the different struggles that maybe you've been through or you might go through, when you go through a tough season, remind yourself that this is just temporary and this is what everybody else goes through. If you're also going through a really busy season, don't get too stressed out if you feel, because I have some of my coaches who are like, they're kind of feeling like they're working more than they usually would because they're signing more people. A lot more people are signing up because they need Beachbody. You kind of go through those seasons of like, I'm going to work hard right now, maybe a little bit more than I usually would. So in July, if you want to take the weekend off, you want to go on vacation and you want to completely unplug, you can, because you've put in the work to set yourself up for success. So there's two different kinds of the situations that you need to remind yourself of like, this bad season's not going to last forever. And this, I'm pushing a little bit harder, maybe going for a specific goal, going for a rank, whatever it is. That's also only temporary as well. So I don't know. I know I'm kind of like sharing a bunch of different things. You know, that's how my brain works. I just like think of things and I share them. But hopefully that was like helpful. I can share other things, but yeah.
I was going to say, I want to add something to that because I don't know where I came up with this, whether my brain made it up way when I was a new coach, like Diamond Coach, or if someone told me this. I don't remember, but I don't want to take credit if I didn't come up with it. But I remember a lot of new coaches telling me that this helped them a ton, that you have to think of your business as if you are like an airplane. I'm always visual, right? You're on, what is it called? The tarmac? The tarmac, okay? And, you know, you're kind of going slow. All right, I just signed up. And then it goes super, 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 super fast. And you guys feel that kind of like feeling where the plane's moving forward, going really fast. And that's that push. That's that discipline. That's that drive. That's that hustle. That's that grind. And then you literally, once the plane gets up to whatever it is, 20,000, 30,000 feet, you can feel that the jets kind of pull back a little bit and it slows down. And then you're gliding for a little bit. And I used to tell my new coaches that the only way that I saw success fast, quick, and early on is because I was full immersion, and I said fast is fun. Dipping your toe in and being scared to do things, it's really hard for me to relate to that because I only got to where I am as a new coach and where I am now by the fast is fun in the beginning, and you have to be willing to show that credibility. You know, I had a coach recently sign up. I don't know if she's on here or not. And I'm not trying to bash her or anything. Yeah, no, she's not on here. She signed up. This is her third time signing up. And she's like, this is, you know, third time's a charm. And then all of a sudden, when things got hard, like she didn't even actually like really try yet. She's like, oh, coaching is not for me, and like decided not to. And I talked to her yesterday about it. I'm like, I just really need to like dissect what just happened. Like what was hard, what was going on. And she's like, I got so overwhelmed. I'm like, right, but you have to set that expectation that in the beginning of building that foundation, you know nothing. You have to be willing to be seen small, and you have to be willing to kind of fight through that feeling of overwhelm as a newbie. And so I want you guys to think that, you know, if you're on the tarmac and you're kind of sitting there and you're waiting, you have to gain that momentum so that once you get up in the air, you're going to feel that momentum. That's that 30, 60, 90-day delay. And then I'm not saying you're going to coast. I'm going to say that you're going to be able to like take your foot off the gas just for a second to breathe, to analyze, to kind of take a look, to regroup, and then you're going to level up again. Okay, so it's kind of that consistent process. And so in the beginning, I feel like that discipline and that drive is going to be what determines your success long term. And everyone's results look different. Like for me as a new coach, it was quick. I don't want to say it was easy. It felt easy only because I was so naive and so excited. Like I was stupid excited. I showed up with the utmost accountability and sharing my journey. I did get insane results in my first 10 weeks. T25 is what I signed up with. Like my passion was there. There was no denying. There was no questioning that someone knew if they messaged me that I was going to recommend Vanilla Shakeology and T25 DVDs. Like they knew what they were going to get. And so when you're so confident, I think that's one thing Alexis is so good at is like, she's just like, hey, I'm only here to share it. And she'll even say it in her stories. Like, I don't want to convince you. I'm not going to like drag you along the way. Like, I want you to understand that I'm showing up, sharing this with you because I love it this much. Come join and do it with me if you want to. And I feel like that's the vibe you have to give. And sometimes when I watch a coach, I'm like, I can tell that they're not hell-bent on sharing Beachbody. Like they know that they have to show up and share their health and fitness journey. They know that they have to share these products, but they're kind of checking the box. There's a difference between that and having that true belief because they're getting that progress and having those results. And for some of our newbies that are crushing it, hitting diamond right now, like in 50 days, our girl Victoria just did that. I mean, she's showing up relentlessly with excitement and passion. Her posts are not just did my workout. did my PD today. Like, she is just relentlessly sharing, and she's like, hey, I kind of don't care. Like, her vibe is, I don't care if you actually sign up with me or join me, like, I'm doing this with or without you. And that's almost that attraction marketing, that magnetic vibe. And what's his name, Trent Shelton, said to us a couple months ago, he's like, if people were to hang out with you, do they want to catch what you have? Right? Like, are you that contagious? And that comes from that inner confidence of being willing to kind of like remove the fear and just kind of show up as yourself. And that's been a new experience for me, even after doing this for 7 years, not showing up for a couple weeks and coming back. I've actually had to find my confidence and my what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like, I don't know, find my way again of like, hey, okay, I'm just going to show up all of a sudden and talk about how much I love this. Like, it's been interesting and weird. So I'm digging back into what I love, what I'm good at, and what I'm passionate about. And it's working because people are like, thanks for being honest. Thanks for sharing that you're human. I shared in the comments, like, I fought my way through life of like never slowing down. And so it was actually harder for me to figure out how to slow down and just like figure life out for a hot second there. So let everything be new. There's always, like Alexis was saying, there's always going to be these seasons. I've had some really rough seasons in my business where, I've gone backwards in making a little bit of income because I've had people quit that were rock stars, and that hurts. Like, you pour into people and then they just quit after like 5 years. You're like, what just happened? So that's really where that PD and that confidence in yourself, that's why I want to teach leadership. It's my favorite thing, will be so important. I didn't mean to hijack your thing, Alexis. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I love it. I think you can always learn from everyone. I love hearing you talk. I think the important thing, and you said something about it, and I want to say something about something I see going on in the comments in a second, but you were talking about like being hard in the beginning. One thing that boggles my mind, and I do it with my challengers will join and they try the workout on day one and they message me like, I'm so disappointed. This was so hard. I'm like, was it supposed to be easy? If it didn't challenge you, it wouldn't change you. So if you jump into this business and it was just super easy, how in the hell would it change you? It's supposed to be hard. I am so passionate about this topic. We live in a world where you have Uber and Uber Eats and Tinder, where you just swipe and you date someone or you get something to your house. And I think it has screwed the work ethic of everybody. Not everybody, because not everybody falls in this category, but we want fast. We want now. We want to try it once and it's easy. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. And it won't be. Stop trying to find the shortcut. You have to show up. You have to do the things that are hard. It's supposed to be hard. It's like, I do this with my new coach, Getting Started Right call, and where they're like, I'm overwhelmed. And I always say overwhelm is a choice. You're overwhelmed because you don't have a system. If you have a system, this business is so second nature to me because I've worked hard and created a system. If you're overwhelmed by anything, there's so many groups to check in. Have you made a list? Do you have it on a notepad in front of your desk so you know which groups to check in with so you're not overwhelmed? I'm overwhelmed with all the people that I have. Are you keeping it on a piece of pen and paper, or do you have Streak? I'm overwhelmed by the calls going on. Do you have it in your calendar? Like, overwhelm is a choice. And I think I saw something going on in the comment section about like, I'm not in a rush to necessarily get to success. If you kind of like stay constant and consistent, it can be overwhelming. You have to ask yourself, well, what is your vision and your mission? If you just think going hard means getting success so I can make money, then that's probably why you feel that way. But if you're like, my mission is to help women understand how good it feels to wake up every single day and love themselves, to not have the disrespect to themselves, to stay in an emotionally abusive relationship. And that to me fuels me so much that I'm not going to push for success because I don't need to make the money. It's that people need my help. I'm being served and helped and mentally changed financially in every single way by this business. So if I slow down, I'm doing other people a disservice. You go at your own speed for what you want, but if you have a mission and I think that's what I work with my team so much, is if you don't have a vision or that passion, what's going to fuel you to wake up every day and like be excited to jump out of bed? So I agree with Candace about the lack of personal development. I think if you are not reading personal development and you can't really see that bigger picture, or you just see as I'm going to push so I can make lots of money. That's not what we're here for. If you just show up to serve people, the money and the accolades and all that stuff will come, and you'll feel so much more fulfilled being like, well, I'm just pushing because Candace and Colleen and all these other people told me that I should do it. But that's not the reason why you're showing up, right? We're here to serve people. And I tell my coaches, our job is not to sign people up and get challenge packs and get successful points. Our job is to help those people get results and change their lives. So if you focus on that, you will hopefully have a passion to drive yourself more to that goal than you will to let me just see success so I can get the points, get the rank, and make the money, if that makes any sense. Sorry, I'm just like super passionate about the whole, like, this is hard. Like we had Jessica Nelson speak in our team page. She did like a Facebook Live for me, and she said something that like has stuck with me so much. And I think this is so perfect for new coaches or coaches who are trying, maybe you have a lot more free time right now and you're trying to get to the point where you can do this full time, so then you don't have to go back to your job. Is most coaches are not uncomfortable enough to push themselves. Because if I took Beachbody away from you, you'd be like, wow, that's really upsetting, but like I still have my regular job. If Beachbody was the only thing that was feeding you, feeding your children, and keeping a roof over your head, you would do whatever it took to work your business, right? But you're not uncomfortable enough. You're not uncomfortable to say, oh my God, I got to send my invites. I got to talk to people. I got to show up on social media because this is my only option. Because you have one foot in the door and one foot out, because you're always like, oh, I got my plan B. Like to me, this is I have like other things, but like I am 100% full force in this because I know that like I'd rather spend, I've been doing this for 7 years. I just celebrated my 7-year mark in March. I'd rather work this business for 4 years, making sacrifices, not being able to maybe do some of the things that I want to do, so then I can live the life that I live now, versus work for somebody else and maybe get 2 weeks of paid vacation and have to ask off on the holidays. Like that just wasn't what I wanted. And you have to choose your hard. For me, my hard was never being able to take off a vacation, never being able to see my family. And I will choose this hard, the invites, the waking up early, the doing all that stuff. I'll choose this hard any day. Okay, I'll stop talking because I could just keep blabbing on for like forever.
No, it's good. This is like, I just want to talk to what I wrote in the comments, because tons of people watch these recordings, is, like our team has that fast paced, go at it mentality on team calls. So we love it, Alexis. Erin actually made a great point, because I was talking about fast is fun. And she's like, I feel like I don't want to like say what she said wrong, but why can't I find that comment now? Oh, she said, I definitely can see how fast is fun, but oddly, I just don't feel any desire to hurry to my success. Is that a mental block? And I've talked to Erin a little bit about that before. So it's back to necessity. Like I had no option. I literally had lost my corporate job. And then after losing my corporate job, I went even more backwards in my life. I was about to turn 27. Like everything hit me. And so my only option was fast is fun, because that's what I wanted. And I said, okay, like I was obsessed with Beachbody. I was all in. I was watching my coach make $1,500 a week. And I was like, she's done it. I'm going to do it. Watch me. Like I was very much like Beyonce this. Like I was just so obsessed. And I was like, I want to make six figures in 2 years. And I signed up on June 30th. And I set that goal to get married in 2 years, to literally have my first dance and say, babe, we did it. And like my goal was 6 figures, because that to me was like a comfortable income that was going to change my life. And I didn't have any other income in my life like supporting me at that time. And so that was just my obsession. Like I think the word obsession can be seen as a bad thing, but for me, that obsession was what changed my life and propelled me. And so I always tell people, claim your goals. Like Erin, if you had signed up on day one being like, I have a goal that by like month 8, this is what I want to do, and that was your mentality, I don't think that's your personality, because like you're so confident that things will work out. Like your energetic flow and your personal development and your like spiritual vibes carry you through life. I didn't have any of that when I first started. You know what I mean? So like, it's going to happen, and you're going at the pace that you've been going at is amazing, by the way. I'm not saying it's bad or good. It's just different. And I think that it's awesome that you've claimed your goals, and you've said to us before, right? Not to like just hone in on Erin. But maybe this is like, if you guys have like a hubby or a partner that makes bank and you guys are like living pretty good, it's going to be harder for you to kind of like put like the pedal to the metal sometimes. Like my mentor always said, you're going to do this business and slay it out of inspiration or desperation. And I always said, or a combination of both. I was so inspired and I was so desperate. So claiming your goals is the best thing that you could do. Because if you start comparing to like, oh, well, Colleen said fast is fun. It is fun if that's what you want. You know what I mean? And so I want you to claim your goals, own what you want, be okay. If you're not okay with where you're at, then we get to turn on the fast is fun button and kind of dig in a little bit. But if there's not that necessity, this is what Brendon Burchard teaches, then like there's no reason to necessarily have to go faster. It's not a bad thing. It's just kind of the reality of where you are. And a lot of like what I was reading in the charge from Brendon Burchard is these are basically like the 10 human drives that make you feel alive, that kind of wake up and go kind of thing. And I've learned a lot about new coaches in here. I've learned a lot about why a new coach doesn't take action, or why they slow down, or why they don't believe in themselves. So again, kind of a side tangent, but I really wanted to talk about that because I don't want anyone to feel guilty about not being fast. That was just what I owned in that moment. And I think that if you're able to and willing to kind of have that mentality of like hopping on the airplane, going fast, if that's your vibe, to get those faster results, it pays off at the top when you get to coast just a little bit more, you know?
Yeah. And I think important thing because I have worked with a few coaches in the past year or so that were like I had a coach tell me I could be a trophy wife if I want to, like, I don't need to work. And she wanted the business to work, but she could never find her passion. And I was like, good for you, girl. But like, for me, the way I kind of, and what I agree wholeheartedly with what Colleen said, you have to figure out what you're okay with. I think Gary Vee talks about it all the time because people sometimes crap on Gary Vee because he's always like, do this, do that. Like, you got to work, whatever. If you're happy, you've won. That's what he says. If you're happy, you've won. If you're happy with where you're at, but if you're complaining about anything at all, not that you can't complain, but if you're complaining about something, you're not happy, you can change that. But if you're like, I'm good with where I am, then work at your own pace. You don't have to match someone else's if that works for you. But if you're not, like for me, where I am in my business, I could live the rest of my life and probably be okay with it. But for me, the idea of, I'd have a coach that just told me her husband, who she said was making the income, just lost his job. So even if your husband, I'm not saying like be scared your husband might lose their job, but like for me, it's the security of knowing that I control this. This kind of business is recession proof. You are the only one that can fire yourself. And for me, like, working my business has given me the ability to help my mom who's been out of a job. Like, that blows my mind that I've been able to do that. She supported me for my whole life. So for me, it's not about how much more money can I make for myself. It's being able to help my sister pay off her $180,000 worth of student loan debt. That's insane. Like, being able to do things like that, that is like, I want to open up a dog shelter. Like, I want to do bigger and bolder things. So even if you can't think about how can I help my current life because I'm good right now, if you're maybe an Enneagram 2 like me, I'm always like, how can I help other people? And if that doesn't even float your boat, if you're like, not that you're wrong if you don't want to, but I think if you can think about that, that to me motivates me, because I'm like, yes, I can keep growing. So then I can, send my mom, like, I want to be able to write my mom, like a $10,000 check to be able to help her pay off something or pay off her debt or whatever. Like that to me is like the coolest thing ever. So
am I trying to find the unmute button? We talked about this actually right when coronavirus started, right, guys? I was saying we have to broaden our lens. We have to understand that, like, when I haven't spoken to the overwhelm thing. I think because there have been moments in my life that I was like, this is my rock bottom. And what's crazy is your definition of hard and my definition of hard. Like, when someone tells me that posting on social media is hard, I'm like, like, I just can't relate to that, because that's a misuse of the word hard. I think we need to reframe it and say, I lack the skills to currently master my social media. Do you see the difference of like, this is hard is like, okay, go run 100 miles, or like losing a loved one, or like mental health hitting rock bottom, like that, or bankruptcy. Like my mentor, Keith Callahan, he's like, when people tell me this is hard and they get on these calls and they're crying to me, he's like, it just is hard for me to hear them say that the business is hard. Cause he's like, I've lost my home. He's had to go bankrupt. Like, he was in the real estate market. He lost everything. Like, I've never been in those shoes. Like, I've always been able to go to the store, even if it's on a credit card in my hard times, and like swipe it and buy groceries, So like, just know that the lens that you view everything through, just be aware of what you're saying about it being overwhelming. You can say like, hey, I'm a little frazzled right now, but in 10 minutes, because I'm going to figure out the tools that I need to figure out, this next 10 minutes is going to be what helps you get through it. That's like literally the only thing that helped me get through these last few weeks is like, where's my tools? Where's my resources? What am I consuming? What am I thinking? Like all these 7 years of personal development and investing in myself, even though I didn't feel like it in the moment, you know, coming out on top, like I can breathe again. And so if there's any newbies out there, please know that whatever issues, struggles, skills that you're lacking, there's an answer for it. You just have to be super gung-ho and being willing to go out there and figure it out. Whether you ask your coach for help, whether you ask our team for help, and most times you're going to realize that you are the guru. You're going to be the person that helps yourself figure it out. Use the tools, use the resources that you have. Guys, if you have, I say this all the time for our team, if you have underlying trauma, like I'm getting real life here. If you guys have things like when I got my concussion back in October, I had no idea how much that was affecting my ability to work and live, like shit that people don't talk about, you know, like postpartum pregnancy. I'm still going to physical therapy. I'm 2.5 years postpartum. Like get the help that you need so that you can wake up and go live your best life. And that can take years of unraveling the shit sometimes. I'm still dealing with stuff. Okay. And so I just want you guys to know that like you might be overwhelmed in this moment of like, oh, how am I going to take care of everything in my life? Whether it's the work, the kids, the food, the business, all the things. Picked your top 3 priorities. I know Haley Garrett has mastered this and I love her for it because I see her do it all the time. I want to see your schedule. Like guys, whatever you're doing right now with your life comes down to your schedule. And that's why I'm a huge planner person. That's why I'm a huge pick your top 3 priorities. I hope it's you first. I hope it's your family, maybe second. And then like your work life. Like to me, I just don't know what else would fit into like anything else. You know what I mean? Like when I hear people's priorities, usually they're like my family first. I'm like, okay, well, the computer is in front of me and it's wigging out. Like I think that you have to be first so that you can take care of your family, so that you can take care of your business, so that you can take care of your home. And when you put yourself at the bottom, that's when we start to struggle and get overwhelmed. And that's going to be a journey in itself. But that's my tangent. What?
I don't know if you missed her comment, but Candace said she wanted to say something because her comment like what?
Yeah, Candace, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to speak back to the feelings about how we say the word overwhelm and things are hard. When I was a newer coach, I had to work to reframe, like you were saying, those terms, and I kind of mind effed myself into thinking, okay, so when I'm trying to post this transformation, I feel really scared and nervous. And then I would remind myself that means I'm growing. So when I feel these feelings, for one, it's okay to feel them because for so long in my life and society, we've just been so suppressed. Like we're not supposed to feel our feelings. We're not supposed to have those like up and downs, the downs especially, like being sad is bad. Like we're supposed to have these feelings, right? We're not supposed to be always looking for ways to subdue them or, you know, numb them with substances and things. So I told myself when I feel these things, when I feel like fear, something that Colleen really hammered into us in our, you know, first training when I was a new coach was that we feel the fear, but we do it anyways. So it's okay to have that, like Alexis said, but we move with it. We don't have to get rid of it. I still have the fear. I just made this video yesterday with you guys saying that, or get whatever that was, that I have like these little girls on my shoulder. One of them is the mean girl and one of them's the hype girl. And I've worked really hard to make the mean girl quieter and the hype girl louder. And that's kind of goes in alignment with these feelings. Like it's okay to have those feelings that you're overwhelmed and you feel like, oh my God, this is scary. But I associate that with that I'm doing something that means something. Because if I was a coach and I'm not feeling any of these feelings, am I really making a difference in someone's life? Am I really changing my life? Like, am I really on the right path if I'm not feeling any sort of way about it? And I think that we've just been suppressed for so long to be made to feel like we shouldn't feel these things, that we think it's bad. And I just want to say that this is good. If you feel the overwhelm, if you feel like you're scared, if you feel like anxious, these are all good. Congratulations, you are doing this business right. And I'm here to tell you that these never go away. And that's normal and that's okay. I still have them. I didn't want to unmute because I'm like, right? Because like I still feel this way. I still feel these things. But when I feel them now, I know this means you need to do it. This means you're going to grow. This means you're moving forward. And this means that you're making a difference. So I just wanted to make sure I said that for anyone out there that thinks that like you work so hard and then they go away. They don't. And that's fine. And I got into this business knowing that. So yeah, get uncomfortable being uncomfortable. And that's where we live. That's where we literally live in this business. And that's how we see success. And that's how we make such an impact on our lives and the lives of others, because we're doing things that aren't comfortable, which leads us to a completely different life, the life that we want, why we even fucking started doing this in the first place. So that's all.
Yeah, I so agree with that, because like I deal with that with my anxiety, and I know everybody's anxiety is different, but like with my anxiety, one thing I've learned specifically over the past 6 months to a year is, somebody said this to me and I don't remember when it was, but they said the reason why, for me personally, I guess, but that my anxiety gets worse in certain times is because I want control and I don't want to feel this way. And I spend so much time trying to stop how I feel that it makes me more anxious. So I've been applying that when I have panic attacks or whatever, not that it just makes it go away, but I will literally say to myself, Alexis, you're only feeling this way because you want control. What happens if you just say, it's okay, I don't need control right now. I'm just going to like let myself feel like this. It's like immersion therapy. If you put yourself, you're afraid of snakes and you put yourself into a bathtub full of snakes, like it might be scary at first, but then eventually like you're like, okay, maybe this isn't as bad if you've been in there for like 20 minutes or maybe just pass out. But you, like Candace was saying, like all the things that we go through in our business, they definitely don't go away. It's just new level, new devil. I still struggle with certain things. It's just at a different level in a different way. But I think new coaches that join, or coaches that have been doing this for 3 months, 6 months, a year, and then they quit because they go through whatever it is because they're trying to avoid like having those feelings. And it's not that you avoid them and then, or you become such a great leader, you don't have them anymore, is that you work so much on it that you're able to handle it more, but it's still there. And it's 100% that you're growing. I think when you're, what's the quote, like when you feel like you've been buried, you've actually been planted. It's so true. Like look at your situations of, this is how I feel, this is normal, this is okay, but how can I move forward despite, all of those feelings? And that will help you so much in so many situations in this business.
You guys all know Haley Christian, and I saw her like get really into her spiritual journey over the last, I think since like Bar came out, she started like reading cards and meditating, and it was just cool. And every now and then that I see someone go through like their spiritual awakening, as we can call it, I guess, I always recommend the book, The Untethered Soul. And if you're really like green with personal development and like you're super new, put it on a list. And you'll just know when the time is right to pick up that book and read it, because it's A, hard to read, and B, it's really deep, and it's C, like kind of freaks you out. Long story short, the book is basically about there's you and your conscience, and you're talking to it all day long. Isn't that crazy? Like you think that you are your conscience, but it's really like you are talking to your brain all day long. And when you realize that, and when you realize like with the anxiety or with the overwhelm or with the bad thoughts, when you realize that you're having a conversation with them every day, like that blew my mind. And he has a second follow-up book called The Surrender Experiment, which is why I'm bringing this up to what Alexis was saying. Like we want this control. We want to be able to control the anxiety. Like we want to numb that feeling of that pitter patter or that fear. And when we realize like that feeling of surrender is really something like that's a tool in my tool belt that I haven't mastered, but I know it's there and available to me, that surrender part. So that's why when I think about, like posting on social media, I'm not making fun of anyone. I'm not like trying to like make anyone feel bad about it, but we want you to see and broaden your lens of what's hard or what's overwhelming. And like the post on social media is the least of your worries. I would rather have you do it rather than not do it. And then we talk about it and we learn together. You know what I mean? And so the very first quote that I read about fear was, everything we want is on the other side of fear. So I used to picture this line. I'm on this side. On the other side is what I want. Everything we want is on the other side of fear. There's a line. and you get to choose if you break that line or not. And that's an actual choice every single day. And there's still things that scare me. Like, it was scary for me. This is what scared me this past week, coming back on social media and being like, hi, I'm here again. That was scary and weird. And so I had to be like awkward, like a teenager again, and just like address it and talk about it. I didn't act like everything was okay. I was like, hey, this is awkward and weird coming back on here, you know? And so I was like, cross that line, Colleen. Everything we want is on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
You know what I was just realizing? Were you saying something, Alexis?
I just want to say one more thing because I know I just keep talking.
No,
but the social media thing, I think that because I'm one of those people that no matter what, and everybody handles it differently. There's no right or wrong way to do it. But I'm one of those people that when I struggle, I lean more into social media because I'm like the kind of person that could meet someone in the street and I'll tell you my deepest, darkest secrets. I'm like a TMI person. So for me, it's therapeutic to like dig into social media. But however you handle social media, I think is important. I went to a retreat last year or the year before with Sean T. And he said, one of the things that really spoke to me, even being somebody who likes to post on social media, he was like, if some days you just feel like you can't post, don't sit there and force something out. Just don't post because it's not going to come across. But I think when people get caught up in, oh, well, posting a lot and I never can think of what to say, I think it boils down to you're trying to keep up to speed with somebody else and just stay in your lane with your social media. Work on it, get better at it, but don't try to be like, well, this person is posting. Like I look up to Carly Lindor as a coach so much. I think she's awesome. I love how she shares. And I even fall into that trap of like, well, I shared today, but I didn't share like Carly. And if I just focus on me, I'm going to speak to my people. So if you're like stressed out about social media, figure out how you can show up in a way that works for you and stop trying to keep pace with other people. Just figure out what's your place in your own social media world.
What I was going to say before I cut off Alexis was, for all the newbies that are on here, and whether you're new or not, but do you guys realize that we just talked for an hour and we didn't talk about challenge packs? We didn't talk about Beachbody workouts. We didn't talk about Success Club points and anything like that. Those are all amazing things that we do need to talk about, but like the community and the success is really truly built on like your internal drive of how you're feeling, you know? And I completely lost sight of so many things, was thinking the craziest thoughts. Like it literally felt like I had someone else's brain in my head. I'm like, how did I have 7 years of personal development and growth and success? And I for the first time ever crumbled a couple weeks ago. And I was like, well, this definitely like makes me feel very different. And it humbled me because I'm like, there's so many people out there that are feeling like this every day, all day. And this is how they live their life. And it made me, I knew when my temporary situation would change and I would come back to feeling like myself, I just kept thinking about how I want to help people realize that like the power comes from that personal development, that willingness to learn, to be vulnerable, to keep showing up. And it's a lifelong game, like Beachbody or not. Like let's say Beachbody literally goes away. Okay. No workouts, no Shakeology, whatever. I'm still going to show up on Zoom calls with people who are like me and who want to live an awesome life and who want to strengthen their mindset because I know how important this is to me. Beachbody just happens to be the vehicle where we plug in and we have an opportunity to help other people and earn an income. So I just think that it's cool. Like the stuff I would already do is part of our job. So if you feel like you plan to come on this call and Alexis was going to tell you how to sell 100 challenge packs, that's not even what this is about. This is about becoming the best version of you, leaning into, the journey together. And the last thing that I will say, and I have a different point of view when it comes to following Beachbody coaches and following inspiring people. Some coaches teach to not follow successful coaches. Some people teach to keep their blinders on and like don't watch other people's stories. And I even have some of my best coaches on this team who don't watch other coaches. All I want to say about that is like when I watch people like Alexis, she's a role model for me. She gives me new ideas. She gives me, and this is because I'm confident in myself as a person. If you're not confident in yourself, sometimes watching other people, you play the comparison game. So you have to be careful. It's a fine line. But when you realize that, I'm going to use Alexis as the example, Alexis can be a role model rather than someone that you're comparing yourself to, like, oh, well, Alexis is like shuffling. I can't freaking dance like her. Like, I suck. Or like, look at her abs from her Ultimate Reset. I don't have those. Like, that's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to say, okay, what does a confident, successful person put out there on social media that you know personally? Like, maybe there's a coach out there who's faking the shit out of everything, because I'm sure that is a real thing in all aspects of life, whether it's Beachbody or not, right? Find the person that you know that drives inspiration into your soul and follow them, and be okay with like modeling after them. I believe in the model after mentality because that's what John C. Maxwell taught me. Like a new coach comes in, they don't know how to post. They don't know how to like take pictures. They don't know what to post on their Instagram stories. I personally believe that someone has to model after someone as a mentor to be able to kind of have an idea. Then they go on and they make it their voice. And so I always tell people, success leaves clues. And so follow people like Alexis. And at a certain point, you might have to put your blinders on because you're getting distracted and you're playing the comparison game. That's up to you. So that's where that discipline has to come in for yourself. But I hope that, like, without Amy Silverman, she was a silent mentor for me back in the day because she was out there sharing vulnerable, and that self-expression was so important to me. And if I didn't follow her, I wouldn't have gone out there and been like, okay, she's setting the standard for the type of stories about me that I need to share. So side tangent again about just, I think, following successful people that inspire you. Not that you're comparing yourself to, but that you're like, okay, that's the type of character that I want to have on social media. That's the person I want to be like. Not look like, not have the abs like, all that, you know, superficial stuff, but like the character that really lights you up. Well, Alexis, we love you dearly. And if I can ever speak for your team, now that I'm back in action, let me know, please.
Yeah, you let me know. I would love to have you speak, but you let me know in your own time.
Thank you. All right. Well, today was awesome. It was so fabulous to see you guys. I don't have any guest speakers lined up for the next couple weeks, but I'll let you guys know whether or not we'll just hop on. Oh, I feel bad. One person was waiting to hop on. I don't know how long that person was waiting in the waiting room to get on the call, but whoopsies. I love how active you guys were in the chat today. It's just like amazing. And so I'll wrap it up with one final little thing. April was amazing. May is continuing to be amazing. Just like the seasons that Alexis talked about. Ride this wave. I'm not saying it's easier right now, but we have the momentum. Ride the wave with the momentum, because let's say September is the hardest month of your coach career. You're going to remember that we talked about this, right? We're going to ride that wave, ride that momentum, keep showing up, consistency, because it's going to pay off for when the bump in the road does come. Because I promise it comes. It's not always all fine and dandy. So that's why you have to build up that strength. So, all right. Have a great day, guys. Happy Tuesday. Thanks, Alexis.
Bye.